Hey guys, my name is Jordan Arell, and I'm making another daily video on circumcision. So today I want to tell you a little bit about why I think it's going to be really easy to end circumcision in the United States. And there are several reasons why I think this. First of all, just the climate at the time, the amount of strength the political left and social justice sort of camps have in terms of transgender politics, the gay rights movement from 2012, and the history of the women's rights movements and civil rights in the United States more historically, all are a background for this movement to happen. There's a lot of strength around. Also, by the way, another issue that's interestingly enough, people who are anti-abortion also tend to be pro-intact, who are anti-abortion. Although also so do really anybody who's informed about this issue tends to be anti-circumcision, pro-intact anti-circumcision, because most people just don't know anything about it. It's that simple. We have a lot of things that kind of back up the human rights argument, but more so than that, even more simply, it's not a men's thing, it's not a women's thing so much, it's not a left, it's not a right. It's really just the simple fact that when people understand that you are cutting off a huge amount of tissue, which most people very hugely underestimate that, when you understand that it's most of the nerve endings that a lot of guys circumcised as adults actually hate it and lose most of their sexual pleasure, when you understand that intact penises function better, they are able to have sex without lube almost all the time, they can masturbate without lubrication, they have less erectile dysfunction, there's some evidence. And there's really a lot of reasons that having your whole penis just simply makes sense. When people actually start to think about it and actually hear that perspective, you're missing part of your fucking dick, dude. Like, that's not a good thing. How can you think that, evolution messed up? It's just so common sense that if you look at the arguments of why it's bad, it's just so easy to see, but people just haven't thought about it yet. And they are starting to think about it, and the internet is making it very easy to find out about it. Brendan Marotta's film American Circumcision is about to come out, which is an incredible piece of work, as well as Eric Klopper's play on July 7th. So that's really exciting, because both of those are, I think, going to be absolutely huge for the movement. 4Gen is stepping up its game in the upcoming months. I'm fully 100% committed to spending every day of my life doing this, and people have said that in the past too, but now we have so much to back us up, because this movement has been building for 30 years. We have all the information, we have all the resources now, we have organizations, we have so many activists willing to do stuff. As I said, we have these platforms that we didn't have before. When it was around in the 80s or the 90s, it was really difficult to spread this information. Now it's so fucking easy. It's so easy for us to succeed. It really just has to reach that tipping point. And it really only has to reach that tipping point for people under the age of 30. And I'm a rideshare driver. I talk to people about this issue very frequently. And I noticed that it's really pretty rare that I talk to someone under the age of 30, under the age of 25 or so, and they don't immediately agree with me. They don't immediately get it. If they don't already know about it, then I explain it, and they're like, oh yeah, that completely makes sense. It's so simple. Our generation is the one who is 100% for gay rights, is 100% for Bernie Sanders, is 100% for this sort of political leaning that will be very in alignment with the intactivist anti-circumcision arguments. It's just so clear to me that all those people who are the people who are having babies are going to be totally against doing this to their children. And if they're not, they're going to find out very soon why. And again, the general population, there's just such a poor amount of information, and all we need to do is get them that information. Some will still disagree. There will still be a small percent. But once that percent is small enough, it'll be really easy to challenge it in law. We only have to have a majority of 1%, of 51% to get it banned, and I think that that's going to happen really, really pretty soon. There may be some people who continue not to care about it, a very, very small percent of people who are pro-circumcision even once they understand it. But for the most part, people who understand this issue end up being very, very against it, or some of them still just kind of try to repress it, not think about it, and remain relatively neutral and say, yeah, maybe that's true, maybe we shouldn't cut children, but I'm still happy that I'm circumcised. But that doesn't really factor into the equation. It's really the people who are passionate about it who are going to determine the conversation and who are going to spread this message. And it's happening now. It's about to explode, and I am really, really, really excited to be here right now at this time in history, because it's the most common sense thing in the world to me, honestly, that you should be able to keep your own genitals. Of all the parts of your body, that's the part that should be the most important for you to be able to keep, like the most intimate, most pleasurable part. It's so fucking common sense. Like, of all the things you have, that's the one thing that should never ever be able to be stripped away from you. So I'm really happy that I'm alive at this point in history when this is going to be outlawed once and for all, and happy that you guys are here with me. So let me know what your thoughts are on this issue, if you think it will be outlawed soon, or if you think that there's going to be, if something else has to happen. Is there some aspect of the strategy that I'm missing? Because by all means, as I said, I'm going to continue to study every day, research social movements, social change, and how to be a social entrepreneur and really affect things. And would love to hear any of your tips or comments or thoughts. And otherwise, I will talk to you all again tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys.